December 2008, a month where the world staggered under the weight of crisis. Markets crashed, wars reignited, and faith in institutions dissolved almost overnight. It was the end of an era of easy wealth and a reminder of how fragile global stability could be. When financier Bernie Madoff was arrested in New York, the scale stunned even hardened investigators. For decades, he'd built a reputation as the quiet genius of Wall Street, a man charities, celebrities, and bankers trusted completely. But his empire was a lie. The world's largest Ponzi scheme, worth $50 billion, collapsed into nothing. It became the symbol of the 2008 financial crisis itself, a system built on confidence, suddenly stripped bare. Pensioners lost savings overnight. Charities folded. Families who thought their futures were secure found their life savings gone. The pain rippled far beyond trading floors into kitchens, classrooms, and factory gates. At the same time, Washington announced what everyone already feared. The U.S. economy had been in recession since December 2007. Stocks plunged, jobs evaporated, and even the once invincible Detroit automakers faced extinction as a $14 billion bailout failed in Congress. Factory workers watched decades of labor teeter on the edge of bankruptcy. The old American dream, built on cars and credit, looked broken. On December 27th, as the year drew to a close, the skies over Gaza erupted. Israel launched Operation Cast Lead, a response to rocket attacks from Hamas after a ceasefire collapsed. It began with airstrikes so sudden that entire neighborhoods were gone within minutes. Then came the tanks, the start of a 22-day war that left deep scars on both sides. Television screens filled with images of black smoke, sirens, and families carrying the wounded through rubble-lined streets. Protests erupted from London to Cairo, voices demanding an end to the bloodshed. Another reminder that peace was still a distant hope. On December 14th in Baghdad, U.S. President George W. Bush held his final Iraq press conference. Suddenly a journalist stood up and hurled his shoes at the president, shouting, "This is a farewell kiss from the Iraqi people." Bush dodged both, but the image became an instant global symbol. To some, it was humiliation. To others, defiance. A single gesture capturing years of resentment over the war. The world was tired of war, of greed, of leaders out of touch with the storm they'd helped create. In Illinois, FBI agents arrested Governor Rod Blagojevich for trying to sell Barack Obama's vacant Senate seat. A valuable thing, he called it in recorded calls. The scandal played out like a dark political comedy amid a collapsing economy. Meanwhile, in Thailand, months of street protests culminated with the government dissolved by court order. Airports reopened, but trust in politics remained grounded. Far from the headlines, a cholera epidemic swept through Zimbabwe, overwhelming hospitals already crippled by economic collapse. Nearly 14,000 infections were reported by December 5th, and bodies filled makeshift morgues. In the Congo, more than 1 million people fled renewed fighting, their camps swallowed by mud and rain. Even in chaos, humanity kept reaching outward. In December, China's Chang'e 1 lunar orbiter completed its mapping of the moon, the nation's first step into deep space. And as the world prepared for midnight on December 31st, scientists quietly added a leap second to the clocks, a tiny correction, so human time could stay in sync with the planet. December 2008 ended not with celebration, but with exhaustion. The wars continued, the markets wavered. Yet beneath it all, the world kept turning, by 1 second more, as humanity stepped cautiously into a new and uncertain age. The next year would bring new faces, new promises, and the same fragile balance. But for now, the world had survived its longest night.